corner's back. See if we can make it past a minute today. Okay, really good week. Again today, best week we've had of preparation. So, as we've talked about all week, we're excited to get back on the field and move forward as these guys have done. So, proud of the way they practice, and now we got to still keep moving for the next 2 days and get ready for a very competitive game.
Lane, what are some of the things that Keenan Allen does particularly well, and what is it going to require to limit his effectiveness?
Yeah, I think Keenan causes you such issues because of the size. You know, he's a big physical receiver that can run really well. Not too many big guys return punts. You know, that says a lot about him. So anytime you have those guys like that, they give you mismatch issues with size, but also then they can run with anybody.
You talked a lot about wanting to have better balance. Do you as a play caller need to be conscious of that as well? And you guys have called, I think, about 112 pass plays and 84 run plays so far.
Yeah, two things on that. One, obviously the game got out of whack in the second half last week. That's not where we'd want to go. You'd like to, our goal always at the end of the season is to be 50-50. Every game's different. Some games will run more and some games will throw more. But you're not going to win many games doing what we did on the ground, regardless of how many carries there are. You know, if we're not, you know, we had the gift run at the end of the first half, or else the stats really would probably rush for 0 yards in the entire game. So you got to have that balance where this offense doesn't work, and that's how you get no points in the second half.
Since you and Coach Tedford are obviously very familiar with each other's offense, do you think that if you play Cal, it's more likely to be a defensive struggle?
I don't know that. You know, if you do study over the years, there's been some lower scoring games than average compared to the rest of the conference that we play. And so there may be something to that, but also now, you know, we've faced their defense for a few years. They've been facing our defense for a number of years, but there must be something to it because there has been a number of low scoring games comparable to our normal games and theirs.
What's your sense of where the team is at mentally after this week of practice?
Well, I think they're, you know, like we mentioned, they're excited to get back out and play. That's really the only way you can get rid of a game like that, where you feel so bad that you performed so poorly, and you know, you feel bad for your fans and for everybody involved. And so the only way you can do is go back out. That's one of the bad things about football is you wait 7 days. You know, other sports you get to go out the next day and go play. So it's been a long week from that standpoint, and Saturday can't come fast enough.
What do you see when you're looking at their running game, Bigelow and their other running backs?
I think you have 3 guys that, you know, really cause you issues. We thought it was 2 going into last week, and then they gave the ball to Bigelow, and he was so explosive and so fast on those runs and hard to tackle, and on returns also. So anytime you have 3 quality backs, you know, you get worried about getting worn down, you know, if they run the ball really efficient.
What do you see from their young receivers, Treggs and Harper?
Yeah, Bryce really stepped in. You know, as we know that's hard to do as a true freshman, to make plays, line up, and you know, fit right in. And so it says a lot about him.
Does the start of this season feel a little bit like the start of last season to you? And if so, does that surprise you a little bit?
Yeah, I think it does. And probably all 3. You know, there's some games in there in all 3 seasons where you're winning, but you'd like to, you know, play better all around, more complete games early in the year, and then you know, you have the 3 losses in the 3 years. Even though the first year isn't the first road game we do win, you know, but we end up screwing it up with Washington here. So there's all 3 kind of heartbreaking losses in there that we need to rally from, just like we have before.
You talked about wanting to get Marquise and Robert the ball. Do you have to be, going back to the balancing, do you have to be mindful of, or can you go to that well too much? Do you have to be mindful of not doing that too much?
Well, that all depends on, you know, what the defense does and what they take away. And you know, people have been doing that for a while, trying to take them away, and so sometimes their numbers aren't as high as some other games. And so a lot of times it's you call plays and the defense dictates where the ball goes by what they take away, not just how we call the play.
Do you think that that Stanford provided a blueprint of some sort on how to defend you guys, and that you're going to see other teams try to do the same thing that they did?
I don't think that. I think they showed a blueprint of how to play really good defense regardless of who you play. Very physical, tackled really well, and dominated the line of scrimmage. Football's been played for a long time, and when you win up front, you win a lot of games. And when your defensive line can get a rush like that, it makes any quarterback not play as well as they normally do. And that was really the story. I don't think it was as much scheme as much as that, you know, they really played really, really hard and they tackled really well.
They've been, you know, probably, I guess, next to you guys, most talent in the league, put the most guys in the league in the NFL. How does a team get an 8-game run against somebody? Do you have any theories about like how does that happen?
Well, there's been some close games along the way. Some we've had to win towards the end. Like the one down here with Aaron at quarterback, and so some could go either way. I don't really have a theory on that, other than our guys have played really well when we played them.
Has this team been loose this week?
I don't know if loose is the word. I just think that it's the same thing we've been talking about. There's a sense of anxiety or whatever it is about wanting to go play and get rid of that feeling. And you got to remember that they hear it all the time. As coaches, we try to just go back to work and stay in our offices and get ready for the next game, and not talk about the game outside of dealing with the media when we have to recap it. These guys hear about it all day long from people in school, from family members. So I know that they're tired of hearing about it, and they really want to get to the next game, because kids are resilient. You go in the next game, all of a sudden that game doesn't hurt the same.
Having had a few days now to watch Andre and Max Turco out of at left tackle, where do you see that battle, or how have those guys responded to this challenge?
I think Andre's responded really well. I think Max has really stepped up and tried to take it. I'm not sure where we're going to go yet. We'll go back and look at this. But I noticed we have two really young kids. Andre's in his third semester, Max is in his first semester here, that are very talented and could play a number of positions on the line eventually.
Time for one more?
What are the challenges presented when you go up against a defensive system that you don't run here and you have to practice and emulate what they do on the field?
Yeah, that's always a factor. When you go to play 3-4 people, when you don't do it yourself, just like playing spread when you don't do it yourself. And so you just try to do the best that you can. You try to get a little bit of work during training camp versus 3-4, so it's in the back pocket, especially for your offensive line. All right.
Thanks, guys.